Hi, I'm Herne, and this is Daily Writing Advice. Brent Weeks is the author of The Blinding Knife, along with many other fantastic novels, and one of the things that I found really interesting reading his website is that he has this great section in there, a ton of writing advice, thousands of words of writing advice, which I would totally recommend that you check out. And there was one particular nugget in there which I want to share with you, because I think it is a fantastic question to ask yourself when writing your novels, editing your novels, doing anything with writing. And I should warn you that this episode is going to contain spoilers for The Blinding Knife and also The Black Prism, which are the first two books in the Lightbringer series. So if you haven't read those two books and you don't want a major spoiler to happen in them, then read them first, come back to this episode later. Okay, still here, so I'm going to assume that you want the spoilers. So the piece of writing advice he got was from his now agent, Donald Maas, who said, or who asked rather, what would your character never do? It's a fascinating idea. What would your character never do? What goes completely against their grain as a person? What is the dumbest decision they can make in a certain scenario? What is the stupidest move they can do in this social setting? Ask yourself that. And it might give you ideas that completely change the direction of your novel, as in the case with Brent Weeks, who didn't get into any specifics on his website, but he said that it completely made him reevaluate how he thought about his book. And in particular, I want to talk about this, The Blinding Knife, because the main character makes a decision in this book, which is probably the complete opposite of what he should do. And I wonder, obviously I can't talk for Brent Weeks, I don't know him, and I wonder if this was a case of him applying this question of what would your character never do. So in the first half of this book, The Blinding Knife, the author basically sets up this idea that the main character is going to need to free his brother. And his brother, he has been kept in this prison for not decades, it's about 19 years, I believe. His brother has been kept in prison for all this time, and the main character has hidden this person's identity from everyone else. So he's the only person who knows that this guy's here, that he's been kept in this prison, and now, after all these years, he realizes that the only way to balance the magic in the world is to free his brother, who has more power than him. So basically this is set up throughout the first half of the novel, probably first 3/5 of the novel, if I'm remembering correctly. And then the main character goes down there, and this whole time I was just shouting at the page, I'm like, no, don't let him out, but then I understood why he had to let him out, because it was just a logical move, and it's the only way to balance the world and keep things safe. This is epic fantasy, the world doesn't need to be safe or whatever. And then the main character kills his brother. Yeah. This brother is the only real way to save the world. It's set up for the entirety of this book, and pretty much the entirety of the last book, that the brother needs to be released to balance the world, and the main character kills him. It's completely unexpected. In fact, it's not even a premeditated decision by the main character. It's something that really reads like it comes at the last minute. He realizes, hang on, I'm going to have to try to solve this myself, even though it's probably impossible for me to solve it myself. And I think this is a really great application of this high idea of asking yourself as a writer what your characters wouldn't do. Because it was certainly not a logical choice for the main character to make. It was an emotional choice. And that's one way you can justify a character doing something that they should not do, because emotions are often not rational. So in your own writing, particularly in the outlining phase, I think this is the most pertinent, have yourself ask this question. What would your characters never do? You don't have to just settle at the main character as well. You could think about the mentor, you could think about the sidekicks, you could think about the villains, or the antagonists rather. What would they not do? And how could that change the direction of your story? Thanks for listening to this episode. I will see you next time.